I think it's a great time to do some investigation about a Deepwoken talent that even I'm confused about. Of course, since Layer 2 is right around the corner, it just makes sense to brush up on your talent knowledge because this might become meta or even change. It's Punchy, and we're talking about the legendary talent Everchanging Aegis. Well, the majority of players I know avoid this talent. I don't pick this talent. I don't know anybody that picks this talent. You probably don't even pick this talent, so why not give it a shot? Let's take a look at the brief description of this talent. Everchanging Aegis, a part of the Adaptcaster talent tree, says you take 20% less damage from attacks of the same element as the last you were hit with, but 10% more damage from attacks with different elements. For example, if I get hit by Flame Charm, every single flame attack or burn effect should be doing 20% less damage until I'm hit with another element that does 10% more damage. There's a few things I want to test with this talent, so let's try it out. On my only build with Everchanging Aegis, I don't have elemental resistances or much HP in total, but we can see how this talent works. At first, I'm hit with an ice attack, and that means all other ice attacks will deal 20% less damage. If I'm resisting ice and I'm hit by a Thunder Call mantra, I will take 10% more from that Thunder mantra, and I will switch my resistance from ice to thunder. It's very difficult to test how much damage a normal mantra will be doing on a build with this talent because it switches elements instantly. Assuming the switch is instant, you will only take 10% more damage from the mantra that switches your resistance. When being hit with an element that you're already resisting, your character will have an outline the same color as the element. As you can see, I'm already resisting against Gale, so I glow green once I'm hit. When the element switches, a glowing type of shield will pop up instead and tell you what you're going to be resisting. Just like in the past, I believe this talent is way too vague with its description. The talent description of attacks is not really true. Against Curve Blade players, their emblems are not dealing 20% less damage, but the Flourish, which procs the Suffocate effect, will be resisted. It's easy for us to tell with this because of the green player outline. Testing with the Hero Sword gives us the same result, meaning Aegis only resists elemental effects and mantras, not elemental damage. It's very weird, and the word attacks is much too vague. It's hard to see if Crypt Blade is resisted because there's no player outline. On the other hand, shadow mantras and effects can be resisted, it's just really hard to see the shield. In PvP, this talent is mid, but it's not really that bad. It's unrealistic to expect that every single player runs a single element, but the damage downside isn't that crazy. If you want to resist mantras, I would rather pick this instead of Return to the Dark Ages, because it might be more useful against monsters or bosses. Against Duke, many of his wind attacks are resisted, indicated by the glowing green outline I have, and against Ferryman, it's the same thing. I have this yellow outline which means resistance. Usually yellow outlines mean you're dealing more posture damage, but it's popping up when I get hit by Thundercall attacks. I believe the hate behind this talent is honestly unwarranted. Instead of being useless, it's pretty decent, but it does suffer against hybrid builds or multiple players. I still think if you're fighting somebody with a single element, it's all upsides, but this won't always happen. This talent certainly isn't terrible because it can be stacked with other resisting talents, but most legendary cards in Deepwoken don't have any trade-offs, they're just better. In my opinion, I think it's very likely that Layer 2 will have some interesting options for bosses and enemies that use elemental powers. Even right now, we have some enemies with single elements, and it would make sense for Layer 2, a snow-themed endgame dungeon, to have some elemental bosses or enemies. So Everchanging Aegis might be worth picking up if you want to have a super PvE tank build. But of course, I don't know this as a fact, it's just speculation. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful and cleared up some confusion about this weird legendary talent. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. Have a good one, and get ready for Layer 2.